What does it mean to coach your employees? When I was first promoted, I felt I had to have all the answers. Not only did I have to know how everything needed to be done, I went out of my way to tell my employees how they should be doing their job. I was so wrapped up in my own insecurity, I didn't even realize I'd stopped listening. And it took one of my employees pointing out a mistake I had made on a process that she was far more familiar with and far more experienced with that I realized, maybe it's time I should try doing something different. Hey, leadership is hard and no one's told you how to do it right. My name's Matthew Devine and I'm an executive coach based in Toronto, Canada. And I got your back. Let's see if we can figure out this leadership thing together. One of the things that I did differently was start learning how to coach my employees better. In his book, The Coaching Habit, Michael Stainer advises that managers say less and ask more. Our instinct as managers, though, is to act and make decisions and give advice. And admittedly, that is our role. But the problem is, if that's all we're doing, we're missing information. And new managers especially are prone to miss this. We risk not hearing what our employees are actually telling us, and maybe even what they actually need. So if we want to develop our ability to coach employees, we need to learn how to slow down. The goal for you is to stay curious for longer than you are used to, and to rush to action more slowly. Ask questions, then listen, and listen some more. And it's okay if there's a bit of silence in the conversation. Don't feel you need to rush to get a response. Sometimes your employees just need a little bit more time to think before they're ready to share some more with you. My role as a trainer, one of the things I've learned is that if you're asking a question of your audience or you're in a group, if you wait 8 seconds, just a count of 8 in your head after you ask a question, someone in the audience will respond. Someone will raise their hand. The same can be true as a manager in a conversation with your employee. Ask the question and then start a count in your head. Give it to 8, I guarantee you they will answer you. Back to Michael Stainer's book, The Coaching Habit, he proposes that managers use these 7 questions to help facilitate deeper conversations with their employees. First, what is on your mind? Open the question, open the field to whatever your employee has to say. What else? A question like this is to encourage them to expand, to explore, to get into more detail, to go farther. Sometimes the employee will just give you the high-level snapshot version of what's going on. Encouraging them to share more information will uncover further details, uncover their emotional response to it, which will give you clues as to what might be the real issue under all this, and it will help make sure that you have the proper context. What is the real challenge for you? Asking a question like this is getting past the what are the details of the issue that the employee is facing, but really understanding what's getting in their way to succeeding. This might also help you learn areas of development for your employees so you can, in the future, provide training or other kinds of developmental opportunities. But I want to point out just for a moment that your goal here is simply to listen and gather information. We're not in solution mode. You don't need to respond yet. Just simply absorb as much as you can. Question number 4. What do you want? This could be, what do they want the outcome to be? What do they want for themselves? Or you just leave it open-ended and see what they come back with. This helps you understand what are their priorities and what do they think is important. This next question I like. If you say yes to this thing, what are you saying no to? Often when people need to make a decision or they need to act on a particular thing, they are making a decision as to what they're willing to invest their time and energy and thought and emotion into. But that comes at a cost of not doing some other thing. Asking them what they are agreeing to do or choosing to do opens the possibility of what are they giving up. And asking this question allows them to contemplate what are the choices they are making. Sometimes we are acting out of obligation and on autopilot. But if you ask your employee, to consider their options. They may reveal more about what is important to them and what they feel they may be giving up. Remember, we're not responding right now. We're not providing a solution. We are just simply getting information. We can work on a solution at a later stage. Next question is, how can I help? One of the important things you need to do as a manager is develop your team members. Some of them may ultimately move on to leadership roles themselves, but even if they're not, you want to make sure that you are providing them with agency and the ability to reflect on the choices that they need to make and develop that independent mindset so that if issues come up, they can solve things on their own more quickly and with greater confidence. So by asking them, how can I help you? You are giving them the ability to determine what are the resources they need, how they want you as the manager to support them. Sometimes it's just as simple as they just want you to be there for them, or they want you to listen to the issues they are having. They may not actually need you to do anything. So without rushing in with all sorts of solutions, give them the opportunity to tell you what they need. Finally, why is this most useful to you about whatever the topic is, the issue is? Get them to articulate the value they have towards this particular issue, or the skills that they are learning, or the situation they are in. Help them start to prioritize and understand some things are going to have greater importance and greater impact. A word of caution. Beware sometimes when you ask questions that you might inadvertently be forcing an answer. For example, if you ask, have you considered doing X, Y, and Z? What you're really saying is, I, your manager, think you should be doing X, Y, and Z. But it's framed as a question. So of course they're going to agree with you that X, Y, Z is what they need to do. As a manager, if you have the answer, fine. We still have a job to do. We still need to get work done. And if you've got the information, you give them the information. But if the goal is to get the employee to learn, then you want to make sure the questions you ask are open-ended and allow them to come up with expansive answers. You need to decide, are you serving the employee in this situation? And is that the greater priority? Their development, their learning? Or are you serving the organizational goals and objectives, at which point efficiency and effectiveness may be more important in that moment? Here's a challenge for you this week. In your next one-on-one with employees, ask one or two of these 7 questions, and then listen. See what comes out of those discussions. And then let me know how it goes.